Thor was travelling from the east and he came to an inlet. On the other side of the inlet was a ferryman with his ship. Thor called, "Who is that lad of lads who stands on the side of the inlet? Who is that churl of chills who calls over the gulf? Ferry me over the water and I'll feed you in the morning. I've a basket on my back, no food could be better. I ate at leisure before I left home, herrings and oatmeal. I've eaten my fill of these." As your morning's work, you praise your breakfast? You don't clearly know what's before you. Sad is your household. I think your mother's dead. What you say now would seem great news to most people, that my mother is dead. It doesn't look as if you own 3 decent farms. Bare-legged you stand, wearing your beggar's gear. You don't even have any breeches. Steer the oaken ship here. I'll direct you to the landing stage. Anyway, who owns the ship which you keep next to the bank? Fidolf, he's called, the man who ordered me to keep it. That warrior wise in council who lives in Council Island Sound. He told me not to ferry highwaymen or horse thieves, but good men alone, and those whom I recognise clearly. Tell me your name if you want to cross the inlet. I'd tell you my name, even if I were outlawed, and my origin to all. I am Odin's son, brother of Malai, father of Magni, powerful god's leader, before you converse here. This I'll ask you now, what you are called. I am called Harbard. I seldom conceal my name. Why should you conceal your name unless you are in a dispute? Whether or not I have a dispute, I defend my life from such as you are, unless I were doomed. It seems to me that it be an unpleasant labour to wade over the water to you and wet my prick. I'll pay you back, you babe in arms, for your jeering words, if I get over the water. Here, I'll stand and wait for you. You've encountered no tougher man since Hrungnir's death. This is what you are talking about, that Hrungnir and I fought? The great spirited giant whose head was made of stone, and yet I brought him down and made him fall before me. What were you doing meanwhile, Harbard? I was with Fjolvar 5 winters long, on that island called All Green. We fought there and wreaked slaughter. We tried out many things, had our choice of girls. How did it turn out with your women? We had frisky women, if only they were well disposed to us. We had clever women, if only they were faithful to us. They wound a rope out of sand, and from a deep valley they dug out the ground. Only I was superior to them all with my shrewdness. I slept with 7 sisters, and I got all their hearts and pleasure from them. What were you doing meanwhile, Thor? I killed Thiazi, the powerful-minded giant. I threw up the eyes of Ulvardi's son into the bright heaven. They are the greatest sign of my deeds, those which since all men can see. What were you doing meanwhile, Harbard? Mighty love spells I used on the witches, those whom I seduced from their men. A tough giant, I think Harbard was. He gave me a magic twig, and I bewitched him out of his wits. Malevolently, you repaid him for his good gifts. One oak tree thrives when another is stripped. Each is for himself in such matters. What were you doing meanwhile, Thor? I was in the east, and I fought against giants, malicious women, who roamed in the mountains. Great would the giant race be if they all survived. There'd be no humans within Midgard. What were you doing meanwhile, Harbard? I was in Valand, and I followed the war. I incited the princes, never reconciled them. Odin owns the nobles who fall in battle, and Thor owns the races of thralls. Unequally, you'd share out warriors amongst the Aesir, if you had as much power as you'd like. Thor has quite enough strength, and no guts. In fear and cowardice, you were stuffed in a glove, and you didn't then seem like Thor. You dared in your terror neither to sneeze nor fart in case Fiala might hear. Harbard, you pervert! I would knock you into hell if I could stretch over the water. Why would you stretch over the water, since we have no dispute? What were you doing meanwhile, Thor? I was in the east, and I defended the river where Svarang's sons attacked me. They pelted me with stones, yet they didn't rejoice in advantage. Before me, they had to sue first for peace. What were you doing meanwhile, Harbard? I was in the east, and I was consorting with someone. I sported with a linen white lady and set up a secret meeting. I made the gold bright one happy. The girl enjoyed her pleasure. You had good dealings with the girl there? I could have done with your help, Thor, to hold the linen white girl. I'd have helped you with that, if I could have managed it. I'd have trusted you then, if you didn't betray my trust. I'm not a heel biter like an old leather shoe in spring. What were you doing meanwhile, Thor? Berserk women, I battled in Felsey. They'd done the worst things, betrayed the whole people. That was a shameful deed, Thor, to fight against women. They were she-wolves, and scarcely women. They rattled my ship, which I'd beached on trestles. They threatened me with an iron club and chased Thialfi. What were you doing, meanwhile, Harbard? I was in the army, which set out here to raise battle banners and to redden the spear. That is tantamount to saying that you set out to bring us harm. I'll compensate you for that with an arm ring, which arbitrators use, those who want to settle things between us. Where did you find such despicable words? I've never heard words more despicable. I learned them from ancient men who have their home in the woods. That's giving a good name to burial cairns when you call them the home in the woods. And that's how I talk of such things. Your glibness with words will bring evil upon you. If I decide to wade over the sound, louder than the wolf I think you'll howl if you get a blow from my hammer. Sif has a lover at home. He's the one you want to meet. That's the test of strength you ought to attempt. That's more pressing for you. You say just what comes into your mouth, so that it seems to be the worst to me. Coward, I think you're lying. Truth, I think I'm saying. You're slow in your journey. You'd now be well on your way for if you travelled by day and night. Harbard, you pervert! You've held me up too long. I never thought an Ace of 4 would let a herdsman hold up his journeys. I'll give you some advice now. Row the boat here. Let's stop this quarrelling. Come and meet Magni's father. Go further away from the inlet. You shall be refused passage. Then show me the way, since you won't ferry me over the water. It's a little thing to refuse. It's a long time to travel. A while to the stock, another to the stone. Keep to the left-hand road until you come to Verland. There Fjorgyn will meet Thor, her son, and she will show him the kinsman's road to get to Odin's land. Can I get there today? With toil and difficulty you'll get there, whilst the sun is in the sky, since I think it's thawing. Short will our conversation be now, since you answer me only with jeers. I'll reward you for refusing to ferry me if we meet another time. Go where the monsters will get you.